What's good, Commanders fans? So the Commanders have claimed two cornerbacks from waivers. The first one is Tyrique Castro-Fields from PG County, Maryland, from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Went to Riverdale Baptist High School as well in the D.C. metropolitan area. That school's in PG County too, so something's in the water. He is 6'1", 197 pounds, ran a 4.38 40-yard dash as well. Now, Scott McCloughan, the former Redskins GM, he said that he was the best pick for the 49ers. He said that was the 49ers' best pick of the draft. He said, quote, this was Scott McCloughan said, quote, I thought where they got him, that's the best pick they had in the draft just because of where they got him. There are some good receivers who came out of the Big Ten the last couple of years, and he's a 50-50 guy. McCloughan said of Castro-Fields, he competes with them. He doesn't back down from them. So very good comments from Scott McCloughan. Now, whatever, everybody has a different opinion about Scott McCloughan. We did make the playoffs while he was the GM, and we had two winning seasons while Scott McCloughan was the GM. So say what you want to say about Scott McCloughan, but he does have an eye for talent somewhat. So said some really good things about Tyrique Castro-Fields. So Tyrique Castro-Fields in 2019, he was third team All Big Ten. In 2019, he was a 6th round pick this past season. Had a couple of good preseason games, had a couple of pass breakups there for the San Francisco 49ers. Also looking at some other comments about Tyrique Castro-Fields. This is from DP Dan Brugler on Dane Brugler on Tyrique Castro-Fields. He says, quote, he's a competitive press corner with projectable speed, athleticism, struggles to play under control against the pass and the run. He projects as a toolsy backup with the volatile talent to push for a starting job or fall off the depth chart. So this guy was a 6th round pick. So, the corner depth, we still don't have a lot of depth, in my opinion. Even after claiming these guys, all these guys are young on the back end of the roster. You got Christian Holmes. You got Wildgoose was just drafted in 2021. He was a 6th round pick as well. Wildgoose has barely played any NFL snaps. And now we're bringing in a rookie. Christian Holmes, a 7th round pick. So really after Will Jack, Kendall Fuller, and BSJ, you still have some question marks for the secondary depth there. So I don't see Ron Rivera really going out and signing a big name veteran corner like a Joe Hayden or a Chris Harris, because that's just not his MO. That's just not what Ron Rivera really does. Now, Corn Elder was brought back on the practice squad. Danny Johnson, both of those guys were back or were just signed back to the practice squad. So, also, I talked about Scott McCloughan, talking about Tyrique Castro-Fields. So also his raw score, his relative athletic score, he scored a 9.74 raw score out of a possible 10. That ranked 54th out of 2001 cornerbacks from 1987 to 2022. So this guy is pretty darn athletic coming out of PG County, coming out of Penn State. And he was a teammate of Jahan Dotson at Penn State as well. Now, his strengths and weaknesses, this is his NFL draft profile. He's big, long, and can run. Praised by staff for football intelligence and communication. Traits provide decent scheme versatility. Pedal is smooth and fluid, able to plant and drive quickly at the top of the drop. Climbs the ladder to defend the jump ball. Effective use of length when he's in the vicinity. Willing to search for the football while in phase. Attacks and dislodges from blockers on the flank as well. Weaknesses: impatient learner rather than slider to match release. Lacks stickiness to the route at breakpoints. Spatial awareness from zone is average. Clunky start when phasing the route. Badly beaten by double moves against Illinois and Indiana. So that reminds me of Danny Johnson and DeJuan Neal as well. We had a couple guys, getting beat by double moves by Demarcus Robinson against the Ravens. So it kind of sounds like Tyrique Castro-Fields fits in with what's been going on with the secondary depth so far. So like I said, I wouldn't have too many high expectations. Can he come in and make an impact and, impact special teams and other things like that? I think we could certainly look for that. And, he did have a round 4 grade, though. He did have a round 4 grade. Big Ten coaches voted him honorable mention all conference for his play in 12 starts as a junior as well, when he tied for the team lead with 8 pass breakups, in addition to recording 52 tackles, 3 for loss, and 2 interceptions. So he's more of an outside corner, very physical, very fast and speedy as well. So I'm intrigued to see what he does. For sure. Now moving on to Rashad Wildgoose Jr. He is 5'11", 197 pounds. Looking at his measurables and his speed, he ran a 4.3. He ran a 4.5. Ran a 4.53 40-yard dash, staying at 4'11". You look at some of his numbers too, some of his stats for Rashad Wildgoose. Went to Wisconsin, also played in the Big Ten. His 2019 year was kind of his best year, really. He played in 12 games, had 22 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 interception. 2020 only played in 2 games in 2020, so it looked like he must have had an injury there that time. So, but I found some other stats on Rashad Wildgoose as well. I had to do some deep dives on these guys because I've never really heard much about these guys. 5'11", 197 pounds. He was targeted 118 times in college. Gave up a 53.4 completion percentage, 12.2 yards per catch, which is pretty good, giving up only a 53% completion percentage and targeted 118 times. Hit 12 pass breakups and only gave up an 84.3 passer rating. He was a primary slot cornerback in 2019 and has good experience on the boundary. So Rashad Wildgoose can play outside and can play in slot. We do need a slot corner pretty darn badly behind Ben St. Juice for sure. So he played 492 snaps at Wisconsin as an outside cornerback and another 492 snaps exactly in the slot as a nickel cornerback. So that's the write-up on Rashad Wildgoose from Wisconsin. So that's pretty much it on those guys. But intriguing to see what these guys can do. Now, let's transition to the practice squad here. Looking at the practice squad, they did bring back Troy Apke. So Trapke, he will always be a commander. I'm telling you, he's going to be an honorary commander forever, man. This guy will never, ever not be on a roster in the season. So, Ron Rivera loves him some Trapke. So special teams, be prepared to see this guy play some snaps, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he's called up for a game or two, to be honest with you. I would not be surprised. Tackle Alex Akingbalu, David Bott on the practice squad, William Bradley King. So basically everybody they released was not claimed. And they were brought back on the practice squad for sure. So none of the guys that were released, nobody was really looking for these guys at all. Alex Erickson, I'm happy that he was brought back. Farrad Gardner was brought back as well. Khalid Hudson was brought back. The 2020 draft pick. Danny Johnson was brought back. Nolan Laufenberg was brought back. Kyrick McGowan was brought back. Mark Michelle was brought back. Tackle Aaron Montero was brought back. John Toth was brought back. And then Jared Patterson was brought back. So I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy that they were able to bring back Jared Patterson. This happens every year. Like, they cut AGG and some other guys. They cut Peyton Barber last year, and then they brought back Peyton Barber on the practice squad. They brought back AGG on the practice squad. So every time they release guys, they're always brought back on the practice squad. I think the only guy last year that wasn't brought back was Steven Montez, the quarterback. The Lions claimed him after the Commanders released him last year. So Jared Patterson, I'm happy to hear that. He may have to play this year too. So, super talented. You don't want to let talent walk out the building. I know a lot of people were upset about him being released yesterday, but I was hoping that he would be brought back. I thought he might have been claimed because he played really well against the Ravens and he's shown flashes in the last preseason too. But, he's an undersized guy, so I can see why some teams sleep on him. But he's a dog, man. He's a dog. We may need him, if, somebody, unfortunately, injuries or, craziness that's been happening in the running back room, an unfortunate shooting of Brian Robinson, we're going to need to keep an extra back. And they kept Jonathan Williams on the roster, and, Jared Patterson may have to get a call up too. So I'm excited. I'm happy that Jared Patterson was brought back. So let me see if there's any other information that I can find on those two corners. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, Jaquan Brisker, he's athletic, man. Bench 22 times, 38.5-inch vertical, and a 10-foot broad jump as well. So he's athletic, man. He is athletic. So you guys let me know what you guys think. Hell to Commanders. Peace.